Welcome back to Being Overly Analytic. This is Bite-Sized Theories, which means instead of talking about one fan theory for 10 minutes, we introduce you to 10 fan theories for about 1 minute each. All extended explanations and evidence will be linked in the description, so if you want further evidence, look no further than below. This week's theme is The Walking Dead. Taking place in the zombie apocalypse with an almost constant state of mystery, many fan theories have taken shape over the years, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. And of course, this is your spoiler warning if you're not up to date on both the comics and TV show. The Fear the Walking Dead connection. The theory goes that Fear the Walking Dead's characters will likely become villains for The Walking Dead, ideally the Whisperers. The evidence behind this is that Madison fits Alpha, while initially Travis would fit Beta, but now Nick. The further evidence cited is Madison's coldness of actions and lack of remorse, being pushed far beyond where Rick and his group would go even now. While yes, Rick has done far more savage things like biting out someone's throat, Rick's actions all come from a good motive. Never does he go farther than he has to, or in the rare occasion where he does, he always comes back from it. Interestingly, as one Redditor pointed out, one major reoccurring theme in The Walking Dead is that humans are truly the Walking Dead, so the title Fear the Walking Dead would loosely translate to Fear the Humans, kinda making sense with if they're trying to take this group and make them villains. Breaking Bad Walking Dead connection. Several links between AMC's two most iconic series, Breaking Bad and Walking Dead, have been observed over the years. First, the iconic blue sky from Breaking Bad made an appearance in The Walking Dead, namely in Merle's bag of drugs. Second, the red car that Glenn drives is seen as a nod to Breaking Bad, with Walter White buying and blowing up the same car. Third, Daryl Dixon tells Beth a story about a drug dealer that him and his brother knew growing up, as follows.
Merle had this dealer, this janky little white guy, tweaker. One day we were over at his house, watching TV. Wasn't even noon yet. We were all wasted. Merle was high. We were watching this show, and Merle was talking all this dumb stuff about it. He wouldn't let up. Merle never could. It turns out it was the tweaker's kid's favorite show. And he never sees his kid, so I don't know, he felt guilty about it or something. So he punches Merle in the face. So I started hitting the tweaker like hard as I can. And he pulls a gun, sticks it right here. He says, "I'm gonna kill you, bitch."
Now, if you know anything about Breaking Bad, this fits Jesse's description 100%. Now, despite this theory's evidence, there's one major problem with this theory that tends to disprove it. In Breaking Bad, there's a scene where Badger and Skinny Pete are seen playing Call of Duty Zombies, where the two of them called them zombies. Robert Kirkman has gone out of his way to say that in the Walking Dead universe, there has never been any publication of zombies, so the first time that anyone in Rick Grimes' world sees a zombie is when they first rise in the real world. So this can technically be used to disprove the theory that the two share an exact universe, but I think we can appreciate the obvious nods to one another, and I think we all want to imagine Walter White running around fighting zombies. So we'll call it an alternate reality. Silent zombies? Despite zombies' loud moaning and shambling, they've been seen to sneak up on Rick and his friends on multiple occasions. Now, yes, the source of this is likely trying to get some cheap suspense and cheap thrills, like this completely realistic clip of Glenn. Because, you know, when you're a zombie, you don't bite, you reach out, you touch, and you feel them up for, I don't even know what that was. However, many people have theorized that the group has sustained hearing loss through their various use of guns and explosives without any protection. Remember, Daryl has fired an RPG twice with no protection whatsoever, so over the years, they've slowly lost their hearing, which makes zombies able to sneak up on them. The end of The Walking Dead. So it's been established in the Walking Dead universe that walkers continuously decompose since there's no part of the brain to preserve the bodies. The theory is, eventually walkers would all decompose to either dust or, more realistically, to the point where they can no longer move and are no longer a threat. After that, the world of The Walking Dead would come down to, would villainous groups like the Saviors be able to work together with groups like Alexandria towards building up, or would little actually change once they're free of walkers, with war still being a constant threat? Jadis to become Alpha? There's a fan theory circulating that character unique to the TV series Jadis is being set up to become Alpha from the comics. This would be similar to how Dwight had some additional story in the TV show before being introduced as a savior, whereas in the comics this never took place. Some people cite some similarities with being a woman leading a group and doing it rather savagely. If you need any proof of their savageness and use of walkers, again check out Winston. When asked about this, Jadis' actress said, quote, "I think, in a very diplomatic, politician type of way, I can say I think anything is possible in this universe we're inhabiting right now, and that's one of the really strong points of the show because I'm not going to tell you anything." So she is far from denying it and seems excited at the possibility. Aliens in The Walking Dead? Fans had often speculated that aliens were the ones that have caused the apocalypse. In comic issue 75, there was an alternate ending that suggested just this. However, Kirkman has since said that it was just a bit of fun that he was having and that it was absolutely not canon. Despite this, many fans are unconvinced. In fact, Kirkman had originally pitched The Walking Dead to Image Comics as being caused by aliens and that they would later play a major role in order to get his comic off the ground. But since then, he has stated that he has no plans of taking the comic in that direction, nor is he ever. It was just to get the pitch off the ground. Old Man Carl. Many fans think that The Walking Dead is being told by Carl's perspective to someone, likely Judith, in the future. Many people think that Carl would be one of the last survivors out of our current group, possibly with Judith, and that Carl is telling her the stories of their father. While there isn't much concrete evidence, some point to the fact that those that Carl idolizes, like Rick, Michonne, Daryl, Glenn, and Abraham, are by far the most badass, while other background characters seem to lack these traits because Carl as a kid saw them as lame. I mean, what if Lori wasn't as horrible as we had all observed? What if that was actually just Carl's perspective when he was starting to get his preteen angst? It's very possible. The history of the human race. One Redditor pointed out that The Walking Dead's events seemed to mirror that of human history. While the full Reddit theory is linked below, some of the points made were this. Herschel's farm seemed to represent the start of agriculture. Woodbury Ant's gladiator fights the Roman Empire. The flu pandemic in the prison was the Black Death. Alexandria was an aristocracy, and the upcoming Whisperer story is meant to be the Americans versus the Native Americans. Immunity. Many people debate over who in The Walking Dead is immune to what for what cause, despite there being no significant evidence to support this. Some think that all babies born after the apocalypse began would avoid having the virus that all humans caught at some point. Since they weren't alive when humans caught it, they wouldn't get it themselves. This suggestion has never been played with, as no baby who has died has ever been left to come back from the dead. Some think that Rick himself is immune, and that's why the show focuses on him, because it's following the one person in the world who's immune. And it's possible that he passed it through his lineage, although if this was the key to immunity, this probably wouldn't affect Judith, because as we all know, it is much more likely that Shane is the real father of Judith, rather than Rick. And while the evidence for this theory is unlikely to ever come, it still is a fun thing to think about. The Toy Story Walking Dead connection. Now, this one is just kind of for fun, but it's hard not to mention this. It has been observed that there are eerie similarities between the storytelling of The Walking Dead and Toy Story, seeming to go almost one season to each movie. The full theory is linked below, but I highly recommend giving it a watch if you have not already. Some of the points made are that Laszlo in Toy Story 3 closely resembles the governor in Season 3. In Toy Story 2, you have Herschel and Maggie being represented in the cowboys that Woody meets, and Season 1 is all about envy of another person who shows up. And yeah, that's all 10. Any theories with a full description will be linked down below. Do you think any of these are true? Let me know down below. Make sure to leave a like if you like it, and subscribe. New videos every Tuesday through Saturday. This week's The Walking Dead, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you for being overly analytic, and we will see you tomorrow.